Welcome to Over 50 TV. My name is Reyes, and I want to welcome you. Today is Tuesday, and it is the 17th, if I remember correctly. And today's live stream is themed how older workers can find a good job. And this theme was actually inspired by one of our viewers who sent me a comment. And I'm going to be talking about his comment in a few minutes. I'm also going to answer some questions today from some of the viewers, some comments actually that I've received over the last few days. I think one of the comments I actually got maybe a week or so ago, but I saved it because what I wanted to do is really share it with you because I think it really falls into this whole theme. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to answer some of your questions, or do my best to answer some of your questions. I already looked at one of the questions I received already. And so I'm looking forward to talking to that person about their questions. So yeah, we're going to get rolling here. Before I do though, I want to mention that this video, this live stream is sponsored by Career Fitter. Now, you guys, if you follow my channel at all, you know I'm a big advocate for career aptitude tests. I think really any tool that can help you to find a job that better fits your skills and your personality and your interests, I think any tool is a valuable tool. And Career Fitter does have a link. I've got a link, as a matter of fact. They've got a link they sent me to their free career aptitude test. They've got a paid version, but they've got a free version that I think is very effective and can help guide you to that job you're looking for. So I wanted to mention that. I also want to mention, if you're inclined, subscribe to Over 50 TV on YouTube. Give me a thumbs up if you want. If you're not happy, give me a thumbs down. I'll take either one. It just shows you're engaged. So that's all I really care about. I want to be sure that I can help you and that we can communicate back and forth. And the best way sometimes is just give me a thumbs up. The other thing I want to mention is I do have a new article on over50tv.com. It's called The 5 Best Medical Driver Jobs for Older Adults. And that article is now up on over50tv.com. So if you're looking for a side job, looking for a part-time job or a full-time gig, check out over50tv.com when you read the article. So that's all I got for you. That's the housekeeping I wanted to go over with you. And now let's get down to it. Let's talk about how older workers can find a good job. And I'm going to start by pulling up a comment I received from one of the viewers. And I've got a few different questions too we're going to go over, but I think this really could help you if you're looking for that job. You're looking for the job that is right for you. So let me go ahead and pull up this comment. And that is not the one I wanted to pull up, but this is the one. It says here, this is from Ed Brasington 310, sent this to me just about a day ago. And he says, are there any jobs in particular that welcome people that are over 50? Ed, I appreciate your comment. I appreciate it. And for those of you out there, you know what, you're probably hearing that comment and you may be thinking, well, yeah, Ed, that welcome people over 50. Well, my first reaction when I saw that was, what do you mean welcome people over 50? I believe if you really want to find a good job, you've got to go in with the attitude, the best attitude, the right attitude, an attitude that's going to really get you to perform the best when you're in that interview. And let me just tell you what I said to him. And I did respond to him. So what you're going to see here is my response. And I said, flip the question, Ed. Don't ask, are there any jobs that welcome people over 50? Instead, ask this: what companies are worthy of my dedication, my skills, my talent, and my experience? Ed, think about yourself. You've got to, I'm sure if you're watching this channel, chances are you're over 45. Most of my viewers are over 45. I do have about 17% that are in the 30-year-old range. And I appreciate all you folks out there who watch. But regardless, we've got experience, we've got talent, we've got skills. Think about what you offer, what you can offer. So when you go into an interview, think to yourself, hey, man, you know what? What companies are worthy of my dedication, my skills, my talent, and my experience? And when you know your value, you'll automatically and subconsciously change your approach to job hunting. You won't settle. You'll look for the right situation. And let me relate this to you in a way that I can relate to. Say you are looking for a relationship. you go online, you're looking for someone, you're typing in, you're typing in all the things, all the reasons that they should be wanting you. That's what you're doing. You're not typing in and saying, is anybody out there want me? I'm over 50. You're not doing that. So why would you do that on a resume? Or ask me that question. Why would you say that? And I'm not picking on you. There's a lot of folks out there that think the same way. You're kind of beat up. You've been looking for a job for a while. We're older. It takes us longer to find a job. So you're looking and you kind of feel beat up. And after a while, you're asking a question. And if we put this really in perspective, you're asking a question, is there anybody out there that's going to hire me? I'm over 50. Always, always keep that attitude. Now, you allow yourself that time to feel sorry for yourself. I mean, why not? You're going to feel sorry for yourself. You've been looking and you're looking and you're looking and you're not getting that job and you're bummed out about it. But go on with that attitude. Go on with the attitude that what companies are worthy of my dedication and my skills and my talent and my experience. Think this way, Ed. And I ask all of you out there that if you're an older worker and you can't find a good job, the way to do it, the way to find that good job is to start with your attitude. Always start there in everything that you do. And it's easy for us in life to look at what we've done. We're 50, 55, 60 years old, and we're looking back and we're going, is this where I'm at today? Is this where I'm at? Well, yeah, that's where you're at. But if you look at it another way, this is where I'm at. This is what I've done. I've accomplished so much, and I deserve so much, and I deserve better. So it starts with attitude. It really does. So let me go on to this next comment, because it really all flows. It flows like a waterfall that's coming down. Maybe like Niagara Falls. It just flows. So let's look at this next one here. For older workers that get pushed out, do they end up working as janitors, coffee shops, or suicide? Oh my God, this guy is emotional. Brian 243. He says, any thoughts on what the options are at this point? For older workers that get pushed out of a job, you know what? A lot of people get pushed out of a job, and for lots of other reasons. You have a business, maybe your partner, maybe your selfish partner pushes you out of a job. Maybe your wife or your husband pushes you out of that relationship. Maybe your boss, the company, pushes you out. We all get pushed out at some point in our lives. It just happens to us. What can we do about it? What we can do about it is look at ourselves and look down deep and say, where are we at? What am I? What's my real value? I'm not looking at, no way am I looking at and saying suicide, but I am looking at the janitors and coffee shops. I'm looking at that. You get pushed out of a job. I know quite a few folks, and you probably do too if you're watching this channel. A lot of folks who got pushed out of a job, and what do? They immediately go and they take whatever job they can get as a waitress or at a coffee shop or as a janitor. They make some money because they got to pay those bills. And while they're paying those bills, they're looking. So we all get pushed out of a job. I'm asking you, I'm recommending to you, Brian, don't say suicide. Don't think that way. And I don't know that you're actually thinking that way, although maybe you're just being sarcastic or you're feeling sorry for yourself when you said that. But think about what you have. Take those jobs. I've done it. Lots of folks have done it. We all have done it at some point. So yeah, take those jobs. Take those jobs that you've got to take. Take those jobs that you've got to take just to take them to make that money that you need. How older workers can find a good job is by starting really with your attitude. And then, of course, I always say, go ahead and get the skills that you need. Take those courses. Do whatever you need to do. Do whatever you need to do. I have a recommendation here that was not even my recommendation. Somebody had told me this a long time ago what they did, and I've always told this story because I think it's so appropriate. They lost their job. They worked in an office, was an office worker. She lost her job. She was older. She didn't know what she was going to do. She had, still had some kids that were at home, some teenagers. And she was just like, Lou, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to make some money. So her and I were sitting down talking. I do some consulting work at times. And I sat down with her and we were talking. We talked for probably about 2 hours, maybe longer. And I remember talking to her and I went through the steps. What do you like to do? What gets you excited? What makes you jump out of bed in the morning? And, a lot of it had to do with her family and her children. And then we start talking about her interests and what her skills were. and what she learned and what she observed at the job. And she said to me one day, she said, Lou, I really got to tell you, I like working with numbers. That's the thing I always enjoy doing. She ended up taking 2 accounting courses. And I don't know in your area, in your neighborhood, what accounting numbers are and the classes, but I took these same courses. I took Accounting 101 and Accounting 102. I took those 2 basic accounting courses, which I still to this day use that knowledge that I gained in those 2 courses. And she took those same courses or similar courses. And then she got a job as a bookkeeper, an entry-level bookkeeper. She's an older woman, took this job. She made a little bit more money than she would have made as a waitress, as a coffee shop person working at a coffee shop. She made a little bit more money than that. And over time, she grew. And over time, she went from being that entry level bookkeeper to a bookkeeper. And then she ended up deciding one day she was going to go ahead and become the, I think it was called the general bookkeeper, whatever the position was that she was offered. She took the position and she ended up making good money. But she didn't go to years of college. She didn't do that. But that's something that I never forgot. Here's a woman who was a single mom. She was single. I didn't mention that, but she's a single mom raising 2 kids. And she did whatever she had to do. She did it. She went to school. I believe it was in the evenings. I'm sure it was, or maybe it was on Saturdays. I don't remember exactly, but I remember she went and took the classes. And the rest is history. She ended up making has made and is making a very, very good living doing it. So yeah, that's to me a story, an inspirational story that I like to share with you. But here's another one, and let me pull this one up if I can find it here. Hopefully I get this one. Nope, this is not the inspirational story, but this is from Long Lost 8424, and she sent this to me just about a day ago. Matter of fact, she said, life happens in real time. If you're sitting around waiting on a starting gun to kickstart you into action, then you're already be too late. She says, I just turned 61 and I'm celebrating my 46th year in high tech. Yep. Having constantly upped my game by learning new technology, even though much of today's tech is just a rehash of old tech, the kids all think it's new. She laughs about that. She says, along the way, my employer constantly offers me new direction and new challenges. Staying relevant is the key to tech longevity. And tech is a very, very, very difficult field to be in if you are older. Talk to lots of folks who are older who are in tech, and they don't necessarily haven't had the success that she's had. But the one thing that I see that is common in all successful people is always willing to learn, always willing to take on those new challenges. And that seems to me to be what she is saying right here. She was willing to always up her game, having constantly upped my game by learning new technology. And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do to be successful. Now I'm going to go back to this other comment I got, and then I'm going to look at and see what comments I got from folks. I know I've got one at least right now. Here's another one that I received from someone. And this all flows with this theme, this constant theme of how older workers can find a good job. Here's from Stratman Crothers. Nobody, he says, nobody wants an older graphic designer. He says, I know because I'm a 59-year-old career graphics worker who was laid off during COVID and have dealt with nothing but age discrimination. Strathmans Crothers, I'm so happy that you sent me this message. This comment to me hits home in ways that I'm going to be explaining to you right now. And hopefully, if you're out there, you're going to learn a lesson from this. I hope that you'll learn a lesson from Stratman Crothers. Let me say this. For those of you who don't know, my career started out as a graphic designer. From there, I built a magazine, a small monthly magazine, which turned into a chain of business-to-business magazines. And that's how I built my first $1 million business. Owned a weekly newspaper after that, 2 national trade show companies. All of this started, including my radio program I had at one point, started from being a graphic designer. Strathman, how I built my graphic design business, and this is a lesson for a lot of folks out there, is what I did was this. I didn't let anybody tell me I couldn't do something. And I don't think you should let anybody tell you you can't do something. Age bias, it's out there. We all know it. We're going to be suffering for it. We don't like it. Ageism is alive and it's well, but here's what you can do. This is my recommendation. And I really, truly hope you're watching this video. But if you're not, I'm going to comment and send you a written comment on this. Here's what I recommend you do. You're a 59-year-old graphic arts worker. You were laid off. Nobody's going to hire you. You're a victim of age discrimination, a victim of ageism. Here's what I did. I was a graphic designer. Tried to find work. Nobody wanted to hire me because I was self-taught. I didn't have a degree from college. I didn't have a go to that great art school that some folks go to. I didn't have the money to do all that. So I had to read books, taught myself graphic design. Then I walked door to door in my neighborhood and handed a flyer to small business owners and said, "Hey, I do graphic design. I can design a flyer for you. I can design some direct mail pieces, a business card, whatever." That business built slowly. Slowly at first, maybe the first month or 2, I got a little bit of business, but you know what? I turned that stuff around. I turned the product around. I did a really good job for folks. At least they told me I did. And then you know what happened? What happened then is I got more and more work, and I built my business that way. And as I said, I just ended up deciding to expand and created a magazine to advertise my business. And next thing I know, I'm selling ads and making even more money selling ads. Today a lot of folks hop on Fiverr and they hop on Upwork, and I don't think it's a bad idea. Go ahead and get on those platforms. Why not? You're a graphic designer, go on there, do some work, do some remote work. No one's going to know who you are. They're not going to know your age necessarily unless you do a Zoom with them, and you could do that. But people hop on Fiverr and Upwork. That's great. But those are platforms that are full. They are full of other graphic designers out there competing for the same work. And if they've got a portfolio, they're going to show their portfolio. It's going to be harder for you to get a job. My recommendation is create your flyer, go to stores, to businesses in your area, and get that business. And it does take a little bit of walking around to do it. But we're older. And I think it's such a great advantage that we're older because we're not shy. I'm not shy. I was shy at one point, believe it or not. But you know what? When you're hungry and you got a family to feed, you're going to go out with a flyer door to door, and you are going to hand it to people and say, "I do this work and I'm pretty good at it. I think I'm pretty good. I mean, I'll let you be the judge, but maybe you're going to think I'm good too. So give me some work. I'll show it to you. I'll turn it around pretty quick. And if you're happy with it, you know what? We'll keep doing business together. If you're not, well, you know what? We'll go our separate ways." But just let them know they've got an option to like you or to not like you. There's no commitment unless they want to make a commitment. That's how I would build that business. So Strathman, I get it, man. I totally get it. Nobody wants an older graphic designer. I don't get that because it's not true. Everybody wants a good graphic designer. And if you're a good graphic designer, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get that business as well. So that's my recommendation to you. How older workers can find a good job. You know what? You find a good job by going in with that attitude, knowing that you're good, knowing that you're great. You're not going to be selling yourself as some down on my luck or down on my luck, loser who hasn't or can't accomplish and can't do things. You're going to sell yourself as some great person who's over 50, over 45 at least. You've got experience, you've got talent, you've got skills. Advertise those skills. Let people know what you got. Let them know who you are. I don't know. It sounds like I'm preaching, I think, right? Maybe I am. But you know what? I know what it takes to be successful. I know it takes a lot of work, and I know that it takes us time when we're older to find a job. But I hope that you're gaining something from this. And I hope what you're gaining is it's just attitude. It's truly attitude. Yeah, you're going to go get the skills you need. That bookkeeper example I gave you. She had the right attitude, but she also knew she needed to sharpen skills or require new skills. So she took a couple classes. 2 accounting classes for the rest of her life. Those classes paid off big time, big time. So now let me go ahead and see if I got any comments here. Yeah, I got a couple here. Any advice for those of us looking for work from home jobs? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got a couple bits of advice for you right here. And that is from, what is your name? KE4ASC. Flexjobs.com. Flexjobs.com is a website that has, I believe, only remote jobs. So if you're looking for a work from home job, you want a remote job, check out flexjobs.com. Now, something else that I will recommend if you go on there and you're looking for a position and you don't find something that's exactly right for you, take a position to make some money. Do one of those waitressing or whatever kind of a job you want to take that just to make some money to pay your bills. But take one of those jobs. Take one that's going to help you. Take one that's going to help you just to pay those bills, to give you that courage, because we all need it. When we're down, man, when we are down and we have no money and we're looking at our checking account, we're saying, I got nothing. I got nothing. Well, you know what? You need something to bring you up so you have something, so you have a lot. And I think you take a job to make some money to pay the bills, you can feel good. So if a bill collector does call, at least you can say, hey, man, I'm trying. You can at least say, I can pay you on this day because I've got a couple part-time jobs. But the thing about it is this: do what you got to do. If you this particular person, what I'm going to say is flexjobs.com. If you find out it's not, if it's not for you, do what you got to do right now, and then go back and learn that lesson from that accounting person. That's what I'm going to tell you. I could give you a lot more advice on work from home jobs. I've got videos on work from home jobs. Send me an email. Be happy to correspond with you. I do offer consulting work for some folks. I basically really want to help people, so I can do that as well. So let's look and see what other comments I got here. Any job is worth being proud of. And another person here says, stay positive. Scott Turner says, stay positive. And yeah, man, you got to stay positive. This world, there's a lot of negative, a lot of negative. And I know from just all the stats that I see, I get hundreds and hundreds of comments. I mean, probably every week, I would say 50 to 100 comments on videos, at least every week. And many of them are from folks who are saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to make it. But you know what? You can make it and you will make it if you do have that attitude. But I'm going to refer back to something I say all the time is look at your skills, look at them honestly and decide if you have the skills that you need to be competitive in today's marketplace. We know AI. I just saw it today. I'm going to do a video. I think I'm going to do a video on this. I just saw it today that LinkedIn laid off, what was it, 7,000 people or something like that. I think it was mostly engineers. And the first thing I thought of is, here's LinkedIn linking their workers to the unemployment line. That's what I thought. I mean, immediately. And I thought it was kind of like, okay, LinkedIn, huh? You're the organization that's supposed to connect people, and you're connecting them to the unemployment line. And I know that's just part of the world, and it is part of the world. So what we have to do is keep sharpening our skills and keep looking for that better position. Let me see. I've got another comment here. Let's see here. That was from KE4ASC. Thank you. I appreciate that. Looking for work from a home job. I hope that helps you. That flexjobs.com. I really hope that does help you. I've actually, you can, by the way, with flexjobs.com, you can get on their mailing list, and you'll get an email, I think at least once or maybe sometimes twice a day. If it's too many, you can obviously disconnect from it. But flexjobs.com, from what I've seen, is a good organization, and I definitely recommend them to you. Now, one last thing I do want to mention here. I've got a few more minutes. I haven't said much about this. I do have another channel called Side Hustle Rules. If you're somebody out there who wants to start your own business and you're looking and you're thinking, I don't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. I just jumped. I took the leap. I just took a leap when I decided to start. It caused a lot of problems in my home life, let me tell you, because I was like, I got to do this. I can't be working for the man anymore. That's how I used to think of it. And I think if you're older like me, you thought of the man, and you said I couldn't work for the man. And I felt like I couldn't work for corporate America anymore. I had to do my own thing, and I did it. So I created my first business, and I learned a lot from that. And I tried to share that with folks on Side Hustle Rules on YouTube. So check it out. I also have side hustle videos here on this channel as well on over50tv.com. So consider starting a side hustle. Consider starting it and building it into a full-time business. For some of you out there, honestly, I don't think you got a choice. I mean, maybe you think you do. And I see a lot of comments. I get a lot of comments from people who are just like, they're done, man. They're done. They're done with working for somebody else, and they're just not sure what to do. Well, consider starting a side hustle. They usually don't cost a lot of money to start. They're usually easier to start, And the thing that I like about doing a side hustle is if you do one and you don't like it, it doesn't work out for you, you can do something else. It's easy to do something else. So you don't have to be stuck with a particular side hustle. My dream, believe it or not, starting out was I wanted to own a hot dog stand. That's one of the things I thought about when I was working for a company. I was in the finance in the financial world. I wanted to buy a hot dog stand. Then I wanted to buy 10 of them. I wanted to control the hot dog stands in downtown Cleveland. I ended up not doing that. Ended up doing something that for me was much better and fit much more. So that's a recommendation. Side hustle. Check out Side Hustle Rules and look at some of the videos. If you got questions, again, you're welcome to send me make a comment. You're welcome to send me an email, lou@over50tv.com. Send me a comment. I'll be happy to talk with you. I do as much as I can, get back to people as fast as I possibly can. So let me see. I've got some more comments here. Alvetta Anderson, would you recommend a person return to work for a company, or at this stage of our lives, should we really look at how we can start our own business? Well, I think I just kind of answered that. I'm glad you asked that question. Great question. If you're going to work for a company, and I learned this lesson the hard way, okay? I learned it the hard way. If you're going to work for a company, you got to put up with all that stuff. And sooner or later, you reach that age where you're going to be tired of putting up with all that stuff. And you're going to say to yourself, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do. Am I going to allow them to run my life for the rest of my life? Or am I going to do something different, be somebody else? I knew early on I wanted to do something different and be somebody else. And I didn't want to be that person sitting behind a desk having somebody who didn't know as much as me tell me what to do. So my recommendation to you, Alvetta, is consider starting your own business. Consider it. You can do it as a side hustle part-time, and you can learn that way. There's a lot of folks that I've met in my career. And again, I ran a chain of business to business magazine. So I met hundreds and hundreds of business owners over the course of years. Sat down with a lot of them, gave speeches, talked to groups. A lot of folks started out with, little side hustles. A lot of folks started out not knowing where they were going to go. A lot of folks started out figuring that they were going to end up falling off a cliff one day. Their business wasn't going to be successful, but you know what? They kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and they built it. So my recommendation is, if you can, you know what? I would do that. I would really consider starting a business. Start a side hustle first, though. It's less risky, and it certainly is going to it should cost you less. Not a lot of capital expenses usually in a side hustle, depending on what you're going to do. I also don't tell many people this, but I also had two other little side hustles. One is I had a home cleaning service. I did that. I also had a pressure washing business. And the only thing I did was I rented a pressure washer and cleaned the outside of some homes and made, I don't know, $400 or $500 doing a house. And it turned out to be a pretty nice little side hustle. It was in Cleveland, the weather, because of the winter, it wasn't the easiest thing or the best thing to do, because, you could decide that side business, a pressure washing business, was best done in the warmer weather. So yeah, let me look and see if I got anything else. I got another one here. It says from David, I'll graduate with a BS in computer engineering, computer science, minor in math in December 2024. I'm 58 and age discrimination is very real, but I have no regrets getting my degree. Don't have any regrets. You are in the field that I wish the heck I could be, and I wish I had the brain for it. I'm teaching myself, trying to learn AI as much as I can and learn every aspect of AI as much as I can. You've got that kind of a brain, buddy. You know what? 58 years old, you're talking about age discrimination is very real. Well, you know what? Maybe what you do is do a side business using the knowledge that you're gaining from that degree. Never. And if I came across as somebody who's saying don't get a degree, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I hear from a lot of folks out there, when I talk about getting into the medical field, they say, Lou, that means I got to go back to school for 4 years or 8 years or 12 years or whatever it is. And they don't want to do it. And I don't blame them. They need the money now. But you know what? You can learn a skill now. But I'm glad you got that degree, David. I'm glad you got that experience. I'm glad you got that brain. Again, I wish I had it. I know I'll never have that kind of a brain. I can't absorb the numbers as I'm sure you can. I don't have the math. Unfortunately, I never was very good at math. I'm good at arithmetic, but not at math. So I think that's all I got tonight, my friends. That's from what I see here. I've answered a few of your questions, given you a few examples. Bottom line, how older workers can find a good job, it starts with your attitude. It's maybe seems like a simplistic answer, but I assure you it is not. It is where you start. It is where you start. Any questions, please go ahead and make a comment. Any questions that you want to get a little bit deeper, send me an email. If you want to set up a session with me, you're welcome to do that. You can email me and we can set something up. And I charge a fee for that. I want to mention it. But I can tell you this, I can set up a session with you and you can see whether or not you're pleased with the advice or the direction that I can try to give you, or depending on if you're willing to take that direction, right? Always depends on the recipient, not necessarily the person who's given the advice. Again, that's all I got for you. And I want to mention, go ahead and send me a comment. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, subscribe if you're into it. Check out that article, 5 Best Medical Driver Jobs for Older Adults. That is the new article on over50tv.com, and you're going to see a lot more articles on there. And I do cover a lot more than just careers and side hustles on over50tv.com. So that's all I got for you. I am going to close out of here. I think I got one more comment. Carpe diem. Yep, I get that too, my friend. Carpe diem. Must be a Marine, I'm thinking, right? Nothing. My son-in-law is a Marine. Yep, certainly was. I'm proud as one day I asked him, I said, why did you choose the Marines? He said, because I wanted to be the best. Yeah, and to this day, he's the best. He's a doctor now. So he went 2 tours, did it all. So that's all I got for you today, my friends. I am going to figure out how to go ahead and close out. Have a great day, everybody.